Hey everyone, and welcome back to the new Byte podcast. After a week of a break, we're back again to play mode with the lovely Emily by my side. Hey Emily, how are you doing?
Hello. I'm good, thank you. How are you, house test?
I'm very good. Can't wait for the weekend again. As usual. I mean, it's like Wednesday, only 2 more days until the weekend this year. So yeah, it's always
great,
a nice
isn't it?
thing. It's fantastic.
Only 2 days left.
Yeah, man. So, as I said in the beginning, we had a week of a break, but we're back again. Everyone feels better, refreshed, not sick anymore, which is great. And Dan is sadly still not here with us. He's still taking care of a few things. So, of course, we wish him best of luck for that. And we can't wait for you to be back again, Dan.
We miss him dearly.
Yes, absolutely. I want to put the overlay for the podcast back again to free player mode. Just saying that. But, of course, the show has to go on. And a quick announcement already. Actually, next week we'll have a special guest. I asked a friend of mine who's called Vidra Project. In case you don't know them, he's a cool guy. He plays a lot of games. And him and we also played the new Rainbow Six Siege event currently that's happening. It's called Outbreak. And in general, we will talk a bit about Rainbow Six Siege. So we actually kept that for next week because this week we have a lot of news to talk about. So we have a little more time to play the game and then do sort of a focused version of the podcast next week.
Sounds good.
But for now, we are here on, of course, Emily, the usual question, what did you play this week or the past weeks, actually?
Well, I have been playing a lot of Sims 3 recently with all of the expansion packs, and I have hit the 5,000 hour mark.
Bam.
And
wow.
Now I have 5,068 hours worth of gameplay for Sims. So I think that's a pretty huge achievement, to be honest. Lots of hours playing Sims. Lots of good, lovely hours. But I have also been playing Sims Mobile.
Okay.
I've been checking that out, and it's been really good so far. Lots of good gameplay. So yeah, what have you been playing this week, house test?
Actually, I've been playing lots of games. As I said before, Rainbow Six Siege, which we will keep for next week. Then I played Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap, and just a quick summary of that game. It's the introduction of the remaster weeks, actually. So 2 weeks ago, I actually talked about how I want to do a focused month where I play remastered games, play the original titles, and sort of do a review with lots of people together. And I decided to actually take a different approach this time. So I used to do like weekly things, and I noticed like I need more time. So I expect to put out one video every 2 weeks for that. I try to fit in another video for every other week, so we have like still a weekly thing going on. But expect to have greater value in entertainment, of course, because I have more preparation time. I want to film it a little bit more with the green screen that I have behind me right now. And of course, I want to take a bit more time for the games because some of them are actually pretty big. And especially if I want to do a video with other people together, like you, Emily, we want to do a Burnout Paradise Remaster, which is up this week. But we'll talk about that in the release section. And so that's just that. I put out the new trailer for that. I'm actually super happy with the trailer for release weeks now. And can't wait for actually recording the first full episode of that. So that's what I've been playing. What is Wonder Boy 3? Actually, I should mention that very quickly. It's just an old platformer released on the Sega Mega Drive, I think. And that was released in 1989. And just last year, we had a remaster of that by actually some fan developers who got the license to put out the game officially. And they did such a well job at not only bringing a fully redrawn, like hand-redrawn art style to the game, and new, of course, soundtrack. They also included the sort of retro version of that in a 16:9 resolution, granted, but it still feels like the original game, just with fancier graphics and better soundtrack. The gameplay itself, that's why I played, of course, the original game on an emulator. It just feels like 1989. It can be good at times. sometimes it's not that good, and yeah, I guess that will be subject to the video that I will do about that then.
Didn't you do a live stream last week about it when
Yes.
it was just you?
Yes, so last week I said instead of doing a solo show, which, to be honest, I want to have the podcast as a at least 2-player version, right? So it shouldn't be just me talking solely. I don't think it's a good idea. So instead I just did a regular gaming update. It's just someone... I think I have...
What happened?
I heard it. I'm very sorry, guys. For explanation, I just heard a sound that was, I think, someone following. And because I don't have actually the Twitch notifications up right now, I just heard the sound. I was a little bit confused, like, what happened? So I will try to ignore that for now and try to figure out where that comes from. I don't know. For now, thanks to whatever happened right now, I will take a look at the end of the show. And yeah, anyway. So, Wonder Boy 3. Dragon's Trap, great game, really difficult, and yeah, that will be the first game for release weeks.
Great.
Yes. Yeah. But I mean, Emily, you turned so quickly over to me. I want to ask you a few questions about Sims Mobile, especially. So
Sims Mobile already.
Yeah.
You have so much news to go through, though.
I mean, okay. We have
Hit
time.
me with the questions.
Okay, Sims Mobile. First off, is it available for iOS and Android?
I believe so, yes. Because I've played it on Android.
And I have it on iOS, so yes, it's available for both.
So yeah.
How much does it cost, actually?
It's actually free to play, but there are in-app purchases.
Okay.
So like microtransactions. I mean, it's EA after all.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So they gotta make some money. They can't just put a Sims game for free.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
How would you say is the monetizing going? Like, can you play a substantial amount without hitting sort of a paywall that you need to pay in order to enjoy the game? Or is it more like it has like smaller circles where you play like 10 minutes per day, and then if you want to continue to play, you have to pay up?
Well, I haven't played as far as having to pay my way to like level up. But I've made it through the game so far to like actually like gain a job and like stuff like that. But I think there's like certain like furniture and like just features that you might have to pay for within the future, and there might be updates within the future that you have to like pay for or something. So I'm not too sure on that at the moment because I haven't played far enough throughout the game.
Okay.
So I'll probably update you with that like within the future. So or you can discover it for yourself.
I mean, yeah, if I would take the time, sure. We'll see about that. I will probably also have a small take from my own side. Maybe I will have a small paragraph which will put up my point of view if you want to. We can do a small collab. And we'll see about that. I mean, can you guess like how much time you already played with the game? Like, is it a few hours or just like at maximum an hour? I don't know. It's a small game. And I would love to hear like how much is in there, how much can you play just from a mobile version standpoint, and of course, is it fun?
It's definitely fun. It's literally, if you've ever played Sims 4, just if you've ever played like an hour of Sims 4, it's so similar towards it. It's like a miniature Sims 4. Like you can customize your one and only character. You can either customize it to yourself or whoever you like, to be honest. And there's the actual, like, you can actually like customize it, and the control, like the moderation controls are like really defined. I mean, compared to like the past apps which have come out on the side to like Sims 3, it's just so much more advanced compared to the actual Sims, like to the actual like Sims game. But yeah, you can get quite far within like like a couple of minutes within gameplay, depending on how much of a good of player you are.
Okay.
But you're kind of like walked through it by like little like pop-ups.
Oh.
So yeah. And then you get to like meet. Well, you create yourself, and then you're introduced like to an abandoned home, and then you have little missions to help like refurbish it, and then you go and create yourself a job, and yeah.
So it's sort of mission driven, like you always have a task. It's not like pure free play.
Yeah, it's not free play.
Okay.
You are walked through quite a lot of it, but I think within the actual, like when you get to know the game, then you're able to like do more stuff more freely. But within the first couple of minutes, of the actual gameplay, you actually walked through by the actual like tutorial. But it doesn't seem like a tutorial, if you get what I mean. Like it feels like missions. Right.
You always have a task to do instead of just living a life, which is sort of the theme for Sims in general.
Yeah.
Interesting. So chat's asking, like, does the game have sort of cooldown timers for some mobile games, like the Dungeon Keeper game, which was horrible, just to say it like that. The goal back in that was actually to build a dungeon, and you have minions which will just continue to build everything down there, and you had to sort of be God and say, hey, you could do this route and everything, you have to continue this track in the dungeon. And the problem with that was EA made it so that you always have to pay up a lot of micro payments in order to continue to play, or if you're not picking to pay, you actually had a cooldown of 24 hours before you could continue. Other games did it like you have to wait like 5 to 10 minutes in order to take a new turn. And of course, we're all very curious about how did EA approach it with The Sims Mobile this time.
Well, I'm not too sure if there's like a cooling down period. I don't think I've played it enough to actually experience that, but I think it's mainly just like desirable features that like players would probably want with their game that you'd have to pay for. But I'm not too sure. I think it might pop up when you're like having a job or something.
Okay.
Like when you're employed, and yeah.
Interesting.
And so yeah, what I mean is you'd have to pay up to do like more work and earn more money instead of like having an hour job and then having like a cooldown period of like a whole day or something.
Okay.
I'm not too sure about that, but I'll play some more and get back to you about it.
Good. Okay, one last question, like what can you buy with microtransaction things? Have you seen that already? Like
I haven't
store for that?
I haven't seen it, but I think you can buy more simlings.
Oh, so more save slots in that sense. Like, if you want to have a second character for your family, you have to pay up for that.
I don't think you can have a second character for your family. I think it's more like buying more money. Simlings.
Oh, simoleons. Like, in Germany.
Simoleons.
Yeah, there we go.
I've been playing The Sims for 10 years, and
And I correct you. A bloody noob is correcting you.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. Whatever.
Well, that's put me in my position. No.
Nah. Nonsense.
No,
you're still the expert.
It's fine. I am the expert. Well, I have over 5,000.
Exactly.
5,000 hours of gameplay. So.
Plus now the mobile version, so it still continues on. Oh god. Yeah.
Sims 2. Oh, don't. Just let's move on. Let's move on.
Just one last thing, actually. Something that I also saw about The Sims 4 has a new DLC, which is stuff for your first pet or first pet stuff. And for Sims 4, in order to get that, you have to pay $10, but there's a deal with that. It's an expansion to an expansion. So you have to have Sims 4 already. And then you have to get the Pets DLC. I don't know what the full name is. It costs like $40. And for additional $10, you will also get stuff for the other stuff that you already have in the expansion. And yeah, I thought that was very interesting. I saw the review of Lazy Game Reviews, which is doing more of retro things usually, but also a lot of Sim stuff. And that was quite refreshing to see that EA is still being EA. Actually putting out an expansion for expansion, costing you $50 for the overall Pets experience. So that was interesting.
I was actually reading something about it, and I was reading the comments down below, and it was people like fellow Simmers who actually play the game, and they were complaining about how they couldn't just put the pets, like the stuff for pets, on the actual expansion pack, because it's technically a stuff pack where you pay for like just objects and stuff.
Yeah.
And like, why couldn't they just put it like on the expansion pack for pets?
Yeah.
So that you just buy one thing and you don't have to buy anything extra.
Yes.
So,
I mean, the consensus of the review was don't get it, because it's not that much that it actually guarantees you have necessarily more. And the stuff that's in there is not just worth it anymore. So for the Pets expansion, I think I also saw that review, just because it has Lazy Game Reviews has a really cool start in doing that review. So I'm even interested in Sims in that way. I think for the Pets, is that necessarily, it's a good thing to have. There are a few things that are not that good. And overall, the Pets DLC he would recommend, but not the Stuffs pack. And from what I heard, it's even the 14th stuff pack for The Sims 4 already. So just 14th of those packs next to the expansions. And the stuff pack is really just objects for the game. It's not really that much more gameplay, right? Crazy.
I mean, I thought they were bad when they were doing it for Sims 3.
Yeah.
It's just another money-making scheme, to be honest.
I don't know, man.
That's what it truly is.
I would hope that they would sort of do better someday, but for now, it just really comes down to milking a franchise and just putting out stuff for the DLC and DLC and DLC. And it's not like you would say, oh, they have like 6 DLCs within a year, and each of them costs like $20. Each of them costs like $40. And as we see now, even that is not giving you the full experience that you actually should have with a themed pack. So, yeah, EA is still EA. I guess we can leave it at that.
Yeah, we can. We can. Shall we move on to the news?
The news, of course.
The news.
So let's get to the first embarrassing thing, because for my whole life as a German, I said the name of the game wrong, and I just got corrected on it, and I feel so embarrassed.
What was the pronunciation that you did?
Well, in my language, we say Tomb Raider, because it's T-O-M-B. Well, T-O-M-B in Germany. And it's Tomb Raider. So, the news that we have here is from Kotaku. Let me put up the article very quickly on the screen. There we go, there's my Stream Deck. And Shadow of the Tomb Raider will be the next game of the Tomb Raider series. It will come out on September the 14th. And the funny thing about it is actually that it got leaked from the sort of teaser website. So this is the website. Nothing much going on here. It just says March 15th, 2018, 6 a.m. PDT. So that is nothing much. And the funny thing is, if you go into the code, there's a section in here about the script part, which actually will talk about lots of things. So on the stream, you will just see lots of noise, but in there, actually, and let me put up a quick search, there is Tomb Raider in the name. And there it is. Under tagline, we have Shadow of the Tomb Raiders, the climatic finale of Lara's origin story. Available September 14th, 2018. That's how the people know already, oh, there's a new Tomb Raider game coming out, and it's called Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I said it wrong again. It's too.
Does it come out? Does it like go alongside the actual movie that came out? I think this month.
I think it's out this month, like this week or next week. I think.
Yeah.
So
Does it run alongside it, or is it like a separate game?
yeah, the game. I think from what I saw for the new movie trailer, I think there's a little bit before the 2013 game and the content of the 2013 game. So that was just called Tomb Raider. That was sort of the relaunch of the Tomb Raider franchise with a new developer, with Crystal Dynamics, and yeah, that was followed up by Rise of the Tomb Raider or Tomb Raider. God damn it, this is really difficult for me.
It's Tomb Raider.
Yeah, it's just Tomb Raider, and now it's followed by Shadow of the Tomb Raider in 2018. Interesting enough, apparently it's not the same studio, if I saw that correctly. But yeah, it's a new entry in the franchise. And here's the thing, not only the name and, of course, launch date for this game leaked, already we have the teaser trailer out there in the wild on Facebook. So we can do a quick reaction to that. Emily, will you join me for that?
Yes.
Cool. And
of course.
Let's open up the Facebook side here. I think it's Spanish, and it just is a mobile phone recording of the teaser trailer. It's just 18 seconds long. It's not that much. But hey, since we're here, let's have a look at that. So are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Cool, let's continue in 3, 2, 1. I hope you can hear that. I can't even hear the sound. Okay, it's not much, so from the sound you won't miss anything, but that was necessarily the teaser trailer, and it continues on with more. Oh my god, Facebook, stop annoying me with more videos that I haven't even seen yet. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, that was the very quick glimpse that we had. Another, of course, confirmation. It is called Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and yeah, so that's coming out in September. Very nice.
It is very nice. It looks very interesting, actually.
Absolutely.
But that looks like a cinema, like a cam.
Yeah, like a cinematic trailer, recording. Sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get why, if it's out in whatever Spanish country it is, why isn't it out in where we are?
I mean, it's a leak. Like, it's not officially out. Like, you've seen it. It's a mobile phone recording of someone, probably like an intern who had access to it before that. Like, if the teaser trailer comes out tomorrow, it's very likely that official press staff has access to it a little earlier on, like Trusted Press, I don't know, very big guys like IGN and all that, who actually post the trailer also on their own website, because the publishers know that they also have traffic there. And maybe someone in another country got to that, just filmed it because he was a guest or something, just put it up on Facebook. So
a Spanish country.
Well, doesn't matter where they're really from. Yeah, so
shall we move on?
Yes, please.
What do we have next?
For the next topic, we have Witcher news, and that is a surprise, actually. Yes, because the Witcher franchise right now is actually on ice, as they say. So we have an article here from PC Games N. Very cool, guys. I really recommend checking out their website. Lots of cool stuff also for PC gamers. If you want to have a different blog next to, of course, PC Gamer. And they saw, of course, hey, The Witcher put out a tweet. Hang on a second. The Witcher franchise just ended with Witcher 3 and the 2 expansions that they had. And the Gwent game, which is the card game that's also featured in The Witcher 3, that will get a standalone release, or already has one, I don't know. And the thing is, like, The Witcher itself never talked about the Gwent card game, or just retweeted stuff from the Gwent Twitter account. And
so they basically... Sorry to interrupt you.
Please.
So they basically like ended the whole thing with the expansion packs and the card game, and so they're coming out with something else.
Yeah. So the assumption here from PC Games N is that we'll hear something for maybe Soul Calibur 6, and that's always interesting, right? Soul Calibur 6 is a game franchise that I also followed very closely. We also had lots of interesting characters from different franchises, like Darth Vader and Yoda from Star Wars were already in there. We had Ezio from the Assassin's Creed franchise in one of the games. And maybe, this is an assumption, we have our actually Geralt the Witcher in Soul Calibur 6. Could be. The announcement will be out tomorrow, so for the live version right now, we don't know yet. If you will see the recorded version on Friday, of course, on our YouTube channel and on our SoundCloud, the news will be out, so we hopefully will not forget to link the story to that in the description, and you will hear about it in case you haven't even seen it already. And, yeah, the right side. What? Yeah, it's The Witcher, man. This is a game where you have, like, hats just sorted up. I should put that aside. Anyway, so the Witcher account tweeted like, Kaya Mohan's old stones have witnessed many battles. Once more, they'll feel the sting of sparks as blights collide. Check back tomorrow. That is the teaser for tomorrow day. Kaya Mohan is the training grounds for young Witchers, and so the assumption would be like, sting of sparks as blights collide? A game of sword fighting? Maybe it is Soul Calibur. It's very likely, and I would say it's probably Soul Calibur announcement with Geralt as another playable character. And that's basically, we don't know yet for now, for today. Sadly, we'll just know tomorrow, but we're not live tomorrow, so we just talk about the little teaser that we got.
We'll be excited, though.
Definitely.
It does sound exciting.
It's an interesting game, nonetheless. Many characters were in that, and of course, I'm a general fan of fighting games, and Soul Calibur, of course, I have to take a look at that. So, yeah, let's see. Shall we move on?
Yes, we shall.
Do we want to introduce the next topic?
So the next topic, it's Dark Souls Remastered. Can you tell us a little bit more, House Test?
Yeah, so the Dark Souls Twitter account just put out today that there will be a Dark Souls Remastered network test. So not only for the Nintendo Switch, but also for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. There will be another, I assume, test weekend or set of weekends where players can join the game for free. They have to sign up, and they are able to enjoy the game and test out, of course, also the network functionalities of Dark Souls, the first game, just remastered again. We wanted to put this story in here just to inform you. Yeah, as I said before, like people will have interactions with other players. They can call in, so someone else probably, and they will have, of course, also the chance to fight against another player, like PvP. And that's all that I know necessarily. I'm not really into Dark Souls, to be honest, but for many people that are fans of it out there, this is something that you would probably are interested to know. So, of course, we wanted to feature this here in the show as well.
Isn't it technically a remaster, though?
I mean, I mentioned a lot of times Dark Souls Remaster. So it's not... it is actually a remaster of Dark Souls 1, yes.
Okay. So maybe that could be one of your remaster
Absolutely
games that
not.
you could...
No.
No? Why not?
I tried Dark Souls, I tried Bloodborne, and I'm just not a fan, really. Or maybe I just need the right mindset. Maybe I need to have someone else with me just to talk about the game, because
is it multiplayer?
Sort of. Yeah, you can summon in a friend to play with you. I did that with Bloodborne, actually. You have to fight the first enemy alone, and from that you will get insight, which is sort of a coin that you can use to call in other friends. And with that, I beat, for example, in Bloodborne, the Gascogne character, or whatever he's called. And he's one of the more stronger ones because he's very fast in a light stage. Yeah. It was really fun. We first killed them at first attempt, so... I don't know, man. Like, I have many interesting video games and just Dark Souls and Bloodborne. From the level of interest, it's like more at the bottom. And to reach that bottom of games that I want to play, I have so many more games coming on top again. So this really is more like, maybe I want to go back on Halloween for a theme month. Maybe. But right now, for remaster weeks, I don't think we get in here. Because, of course, the game will launch on May 25th. So it's probably out of the range of how long I want to do the first season of remaster weeks. So we'll see about that. Maybe that series will return, I assume. But let's see about that. Maybe next year. Who knows?
Maybe next year, yeah.
I mean, I'm also playing games from 2017 in remaster weeks, so yeah, it's can be still next year. Right. So, what's the next topic?
Something about Sega. What is this about Sega?
What is it about Sega? Let's have an inside story with some old gamers. Yeah, so we have another Sega news story, and it's official now. Actually, it was teased before by Sonic the Hedgehog blog, not the Hedgehog, but the Hedgehog blog account, that there will be a Mega Drive Classics collection of about 50 games, and it will come out to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I think I saw the price of that on the PlayStation blog website. If it's here, so there's a full list, of course, on the PlayStation blog website. It will feature games like Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle. So many games, like stuff from Golden Axe 1, 2, 3. We have Phantasy Star 2, 3, 4, Shining Force 1 and 2, Shinobi 3, Sonic 3D Blast, Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2, Streets of Rage 1 to 3, Virtua Fighter 2, and so many more. So that's a really grand collection, and as I said before,
are they mostly classics?
They're all classics from the old Mega Drive. Sega Mega Drive was a console back in the day, in the, I think, 80s to 90s. I'm not sure exactly. I think it was
are they all being,
the early
like,
90s.
Remastered?
No, they're not remastered. They are sort of ports, like optimized for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. As you can see in the stream right now, we have a small preview how, for example, Streets of Rage will look at. So we'll have borders on the left and right side, which are not necessarily just black, but they have a little decoration. But the game itself will still be in the ratio of 4:3. So it will be more of a retro experience, I guess, just scaled up to at least 1080p. It runs, be happy, says Chad. Yeah, will probably run very well, I assume. If it's not like some Atari remasters that we saw in the recent years, which are just horribly running, I assume Sega will have sufficient knowledge of doing games for those two consoles, so it will not run horribly. I mean, it's retro games. The cartridges of the Sega Mega Drive games are, I think, from 2.5 megabyte up to 5 megabytes, so they're not gigantic. They're not that intensive to calculate, so yeah, should be a safe bet to say the games that are in the collection will run well and are probably worth your time if you're a fan of Sega. As myself, I will probably pick it up. Back to you, Emily.
Back to me. Right, what do we have next? We have the...
Please, sorry.
Well, you were going to... Okay, I'll carry on. Okay, so there's Konami. Konami?
Yes.
Is that the right?
Is it Konami or Konami? Yes, it's just Konami, right?
Konami.
Like, even if you would use a sort of more traditional Japanese wording, it would still be like Konami. So it's very like average pronunciation of the syllables. Konami.
Okay.
Moving on.
So it teases a zone of the Enders. Do you want to carry on with this? Because I'm struggling with Konami.
Of course. I'll pick it up. So, actually, don't worry about it. It's all good. It's all good. So, the Konami Twitter just put out a GIF. Or GIF. Or WIF. Whatever you call it. It's from the Zone of the Enders game, and chat, stop cracking me up. So we see a teaser of Zone of the Enders 2, and that's a game that was done in production by Hideo Kojima, the guy that also did, of course, the world-famous Metal Gear Solid franchise. Assumingly, again, by PC Games. And hey guys, there will be a remaster also coming to the PC, and it will be happening soon, so who knows? Apparently it was planned for Q2 of this year, so we're actually still waiting for an official announcement, and that may be the first teaser for it. Again, with the lens, assumptions, speculations, and all that. So we're not 100% sure. We don't claim that we know about it. We just wanted to report about it quickly and have a look at it. And my personal point why I want to bring this in is, interesting enough, like Metal Gear Survive, which was recently released, was not very well reviewed. Like, people were saying, it's sometimes not bad. So that is the stance that we have right now on Konami games. And they're still a publisher. They still have many franchises under their belt, like the PES games, like football, soccer games, whatever you want to call it. And, of course, also franchises like Zone of the Enders. So, hate it or love them. Probably know what people often. Hate it or ignore them. But they still have games like Zone of the Enders that are still good. And I would say, personally, like, if they have an old game, it's interesting enough, it's coming out on a modern platform, maybe we can talk about buying it still. On the other hand, of course, it's also sort of an ethical question. Like, do you want to still support a company which dealt with the developers really bad and treated their most present personality, I mean, not present anymore, Hideo Kojima, like, literally shit? Most people say no. So, again, I just want to fulfill my information mission here and want to have you to know that there's something coming, probably for Zone of the Enders 2 around PC release, maybe. And that's that. Actually, let's continue with the next topic, I guess.
That's by Konami.
Exactly.
Okay. We shall move on now. So the members of the Twitch Prime, essentially Amazon Prime,
yes,
will get free games now on a monthly basis. Ooh. So the first list of games, which will be expected to be released in March, is Super Hot, Shadow Tactics, Tiles from the Candlekeep, Oxenfree, and Mr. Shifty.
Yes.
They're games that I've never heard of, but I look forward to seeing them on the Amazon Prime thing.
Yeah.
Wait. So yeah, that'll happen every month. What?
Yes, I just want to say very quickly. So the explanation for what is Twitch Prime? Twitch got bought by Amazon because they're rich. Like, have you seen the news about Jeff Bezos, the boss of Amazon? He apparently earns $238,000. $238,000 per minute of just breathing. If he's just alive for a minute, he earned $238,000. And many people just dream of having that much money within a year without taxes. So this man is the richest man in the world. He's so rich. He basically just could pay everyone their annual wages just within a minute. So, yeah, talking about unfair share of the wealth in the world, that's that. But still, if you have Amazon Prime, you also have Twitch Prime. Is just like the linked version. If you link up your your Amazon account with Twitch, you will get automatically Twitch Prime. And with Twitch Prime, you will now also get games for free. And starting tomorrow, with March 15th, you will get, apparently, with the article here, Super Hot and Oxenfree for free, and many games coming soon. Super Hot, of course, the game that's sort of 3D action adventure in the first-person situation. You have to move around and kill other enemies, but the trick is time only continues if you're moving. So if you're standing still, time's not continuing. And that is, of course, the idea how to solve sort of the puzzles within the combat. It's a very interesting game. Super cool. And Oxenfree is a whole surprise box in itself. If you have Twitch Prime, check out Oxenfree. It's amazing. It's another of those crazy indie games that will surprise you totally. And yeah, that's lots of other games coming out for March. Do you want to continue for the April games? These are also known already, apparently.
April games. So this is coming out next month. Tales from the Borderlands, SteamWorld Dig 2,
yes,
Kingsway, Tokyo got there in the end. Tokyo 42 and Dub Wars. The only one I've heard of is Tales from the Borderland because I've played Borderlands 2, which is quite good. So yeah, maybe I'll give Tales of the Borderland a go next month.
Apparently, it's one of the best Telltale games ever, and it's also expected to be very enjoyable for people who didn't even play Borderlands itself. So yeah, absolutely. We saw that already in the PlayStation Network PS Plus games, which you got for free also. Another service where you pay a monthly or annual fee, and you will also get games for free. So Twitch, without having a console platform, they'll also give out games just like Xbox games for gold or PlayStation Plus free games in the PlayStation Network. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's very cool, actually.
It's a cool feature.
I think especially with Amazon Prime, like I use that a lot. Like sometimes I have like express delivery, which usually costs like €5. Sometimes I have that for free, so that's a great thing. And sometimes I have premium delivery. Also, if I'm lucky, within the next day for free instead of like €5, I think what it costs. And that also includes like Amazon Video and all that. I don't want to chill for them. I'm not sponsored by them by any means. I'm just saying like, well, there's actually a lot in that. And for us gamers, of course, Twitch Prime for the Twitch features, and now the free games. That's a cool thing. That's all I want to say.
I mean, I get a student discount, which is like I only pay like £40, I think, every 6 months. I'm not too sure, but it's heavily discounted, and I get like so much for it. I mean, I'm not like sponsored by it at all, but like I just like. I get Amazon Prime, which is like, well, I have had 7-day delivery before, and next day delivery, which is so good.
Yeah.
Especially when, and to hear this is actually so cool. Like to have these extra features of like Twitch Prime when you link your account, and having free games. I just can't wait to play them if I do.
Apparently, chat, especially Video Project, also reminded us you will not get Steam games. You will need the Twitch game launcher for that. So that's another launcher that you need to play games from. And in there, you will have your Twitch account, and with your Twitch account, you will have your games linked to that. Who knows to what this will lead on to? Maybe there will be games published by Twitch in the future. I mean, I could see that happen, like sort of an indie haven, because Twitch is already in connection with so many streamers who could use or could do sort of promotion for games. And yeah, who knows? It's very interesting, of course. But talking about same-day delivery, I will take the opportunity to go to the next topic. I just ordered something else with same-day delivery. I just was already keen about buying this product, and one morning I just said, wait a sec. One morning I just was thinking, you know what? I want to have that this evening. And I just said, there are many actually vendors for that product. They said, you can have it tomorrow, maybe next week. And luckily I found the same day delivery option, which is I mean, if you're Prime, of course you can have that same thing today.
Yeah.
And the thing that I got back then was the Raspberry Pi 3. So let's have a look at what that is actually. This is this little computer. But to be honest, this is not the news part. This is actually a newer version. So I got, like 2 weeks ago, Raspberry Pi 3, the B version. And this is the Raspberry Pi 3 B Plus version. The difference is that my version was released in 2016, and this is now the 2018 model. And what that even is, very quickly explained, this is like a mini PC based on one chip. You have a general CPU, a very small GPU, and good sort of RAM. And it's intended to educate young people about programming. It's sort of getting them into that. And how well that works is they sold like, I think 9 million of them already. And they're super cheap. They only cost like $35. So the last version will probably be a little cheaper now because the new version is now here. And then again, will also still cost only $35. And many people, like myself, also use them, for example, to build a retro gaming machine with that, based on the platform which is called RetroPie. This is a software that you can also run on this small chip. It's really like a check card big. It's tiny. Like my phone is larger than that in size than this little computer. It's amazing. And I will probably do a small article or one or two of them on our website. Little more nerdy things, like I also use this for dev machines or development because I work in web development, and it's a very helpful tool in my everyday life if I decide to utilize it. And there's very cool things you can do with that. And to see that there's no new version, which will have support for 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, which is good. It's like the modern version. There's still 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, which is more of the solid thing. The higher the frequency, the more it's capable of higher speeds, but it's also having the tendency of losing the connection very early on because it can be stopped very easily compared to the lower frequency. With that, we also have, of course, a slight bump in the CPU, so we have 200 megahertz in speed, and basically that's it. It's not that much different from the Raspberry Pi 3 version, so the Raspberry Pi the Raspberry Pi 3 B Plus version is out today, actually, and will still cost the same thing for everyone. And as I said before, if you're interested in development and all that, and want to have a small machine that you want to tinker with, or just if you want to have a cool actual physical platform for your retro games, maybe you want to take a look into that.
So it's a Raspberry Pi.
Yes.
Not like an edible.
No.
Not one you can eat.
No. But funny enough, it has the Raspberry as a logo everywhere. It's even on this chip, as we just saw, this small Raspberry.
Fair enough.
Very cute. If you open up the console for that, it will start with 4 raspberries in the top, and then it will list everything that it will launch. It's a very nerdy thing, I know, but many people can actually utilize it very easily. So if you're not into programming, there are lots of easy tutorials in how you can turn this into a retro gaming console. There are so many people who sell accessories for that little thing, like 3D printed shells where you can just put that thing in. You have to put in a small SD card, a macro SD card, with whatever you want, and just plug it in, turn the power on, and you're ready to go. So, yeah, basically, it's a PC, but very small, and can still do a lot with that. And no, you can't eat it. Yeah, that's the Nerd Hour with House Juice. Thank you so much for watching. Let's go back to the podcast. Emily, what is our next topic of the day?
Sorry, I just can't get over that. Wolfenstein 3D. What's their new game?
The latest game in that franchise was Wolfenstein: The New Colossus. Came out last year, which was another game released by Bethesda, and it's amazing. Just saying that. Our next topic of today actually deals with an older version, and that's Wolfenstein 3D, the game that came out in the early 90s, which was the predecessor of Doom, and was sort of the first, like, sort of profitable done first-person shooter. There were other things that were first-person in the gaming sphere before that, but yeah, the game Wolfenstein 3D, which was released in 1992, was sort of the first major success in that new era of gaming. And I just like this story, so let's have a quick look at it. This Wolfenstein 3D mod lets you pet the dogs until they go to sleep. And it's such a lovely story, actually. So this is a mod for the game, which would turn Wolfenstein 3D into Wolfenstein 3D. So without the L, it's like a bark of a dog. It's just so good. And the idea with that is you will just turn everything that's nasty away. Nasty and Nazi, actually. Usually in Wolfenstein 3D, you play as BJ Blazkowicz, and you are the guy who just shoots down all the bad guys, which are the Nazi. In Germany, this game is indexed, actually, because you're not allowed to have sort of icons and logos of that time apparent in games, because games are not treated as artwork in Germany. And yes, so basically, you don't... What the law says is you can't have toys with that, as games are treated as toys. And if you think about it like that, yeah, I don't want to have swastikas on toys. And even if they're like video games, it sort of applies there. I mean, the meaning of video games has, of course, changed over the last few decades, but still. The good thing about this is, with this mod, you won't have none of that. You will probably not even have Hitler in there. And all that you can do is, with this game, is actually you can pet the dogs until they go to sleep, as I said before. So you have, instead of Nazis, only dogs. And instead of them attacking you, they just sort of go near to you, and you'll have a few paws on yourself, maybe, but you can just go over there and pat them and they go to sleep, and that's how you win the game. And you know, hey, in those days, we need like nice ideas, and turning a game like Wolfenstein 3D into this, I think that's a very nice thing to see. So the article was posted on PC Gamer. The mod can be downloaded for free. It's on itch.io apparently, and it's very easy to just get going. And
who actually made the mod? Was it the actual developers or was it?
Let's take a look at the website on itch.io. So the mod is actually called like Woof 3D Return to Wolfenstein. So cool. Apparently the website doesn't load for me. Who did it? Lewis@barsk.com.au is the website. So this is where you will probably get it, all on itch.io. Just look for Woof 3D, and that's where you can download that mod. It's very cute, and if you just want to take a look at it just for the fun, go ahead.
It's cool. It sounds like a cool mod. It sounds very different. It sounds very much more light-hearted than the actual game.
Yeah,
so.
Of course, right? I mean, of course, the original game had a nice idea. You're freeing sort of the bad guys, or the castle from Nazi and Hitler. So, I mean, that's sort of a good thing, but you have to use violence. And instead of violence, you could just pet your dog. So, hey, that's a nice thing.
It's definitely nicer than the actual game.
Yes. And talking about modding, this is a perfect thing to talk about for the next topic. What's the next topic, actually? Right? Just say the
What's the next topic? Is it Battle Royale?
Yeah, it's the Battle Royale round, sort of. So we already talked about Mavericks, the 400 people Battle Royale game. I mean, on the news show here, we already talked about it. But of course, there are more Battle Royale games out there, in case you missed it. Like, if you woke up from a coma, now, and you've been sleeping for, 2 years or so. Welcome back. Good to see you. Hi. I know it's a very crazy time, but actually, first-person shooters are not that interesting anymore. Actually, you need now a remake of the original Japanese movie Battle Royale. And you will still land on an island, sort of, and you still have to fight your way until you're the last living person. And the most interesting thing about that, and I know that's crazy, is a guy called PlayerUnknown's who did sort of all of the very first Battle Royale games, and his own game, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, is sort of the most known and very famous game for that. So yeah, now that you're up to speed again, let's talk about the news for PopG, as it's called, and the roadmap for 2018. And for that, we did actually an article here on the website. So on the newbyte.com, you can read up about what's coming up this year. And
go check it out.
Check it out. We have the first concept art of the map. We have a image slider, which will show you how the new buildings will look like. Very good. Like the old textures versus new texture. It's really a difference. And of course, that's why I was talking about mods before. Also, this year, apparently, the first few developers can actually sign up for the developer beta of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. So people can actually start modding and do stuff with the game itself, which is based in the Unreal Engine 4. And from previous interviews with Brandon Green, the guy that's actually PlayerUnknown, he was also saying he started with modding and he wants to enable other people to mod his game so they can also get a start in video game development. So yeah, that's the news about PopG. That's the stuff that you can see on our blog.
Go check it out.
Check it out
again.
But of course, PopG is not the only game, so let's go quickly over the next few news. Fortnite actually has a lot going on right now. So for now, at the start of the week, actually, we had that Fortnite Battle Royale is also coming to mobile games, like an iPhone, and especially only the iOS platform right now. Epic,
is it only on iPhone?
Yeah, it will come later to Android. So you have to wait, sadly. And it's only an invite version. You have to sign up so you can play it on your iPhone or iPad. And we'll actually see the first few keys being given out at the end of this week. So I'm hopeful that I can test it. I'm hopeful that I can play it for you and give it an impression. But yeah, the cool thing overall is actually that Fortnite plans to bring their game to all the platforms that you can game on Mac, PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox, and also mobile consoles and tablets, like phones, literally. So it's also
So they're
Android and
literally
iOS.
taking over all the technology.
Well, at least they want to deliver the game. And the promise is that each game is on the same update. So there's no difference in the code between the platforms. Each platform will have the same code base and same update. So content is the same. And of course, bugs and features will be the same. So there's no advantage to playing on one platform instead of another. And the importance of that is, of course, they also want to bring cross-play, so different platforms can play each other, PlayStation 4 with PC owners, and of course also cross-progress. So if you play on your PC all the time and you want to continue on your PlayStation 4, you can absolutely do that. And I think that's a noble thing, right? Cool. There's one thing, though, and that's the next bit of news. Besides, this lovely picture that we saw on Twitter, people who are sweaters are sort of hardcore players who just want to game and win all the time. And they would probably go so far to connect a USB hub to the tablet so they can still play with mouse and keyboard on a tablet. How crazy is that? So I wanted to share that video quickly with you. 3, 2, 1. And let's continue with the actual news that I wanted to bring up. This is the one. Microsoft claims, actually, Sony is stopping Xbox One and PlayStation 4 crossplay. So the vision that Epic has for Fortnite apparently cannot be done because Sony is blocking having their player base playing with Xbox. Like, there's no difference for Sony playing with their own PC version. So Epic, as a studio and publisher, they have also their own game launcher. They're not on Steam for that. They have the Epic launcher, which is a quite nice name. You have to admit that. And so Sony apparently allows for mobile game crossplay and crossplay with PC and Mac, but not with Xbox. And I gotta say, man, Sony, please, come on. Open it up. Turn down those walls. Tear them down, these walls. Sorry, that was a play to an older political thing where right. I don't know, was it Kennedy who talked about Germany, that we have to tear down actually the German wall? I think it was that. Well, there was a speech from a politician, and I'm not 100% sure about that, so please forgive me, who literally just said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down these walls, the Iron Curtain back in the day. It's before you were born. It's literally before your time. Forget it. Whatever. It's something that's over your head. It's over your head. Forget it. The older listeners out there will probably know what I was talking about. For them, that was amazing. They were laughing. But yeah, whatever. So, yeah.
It's way before my time to actually understand what's going on.
I mean, chat brings it up again. Sony is sort of the leader in the console war. They had the most sales with the PlayStation 4 and now PlayStation 4 Pro. Surely they can allow it, but still, man, it still sucks. Like, come on, allow Xbox players and PS4 players to play together. There's literally no reason. The people that are on Xbox will not go to PlayStation 4. So why not open it up and just sort of have the best console, the best experience with that, the best system for that, just be the best thing on the market and just take that as the advantage. It shouldn't be that PlayStation 4 players can only play with PlayStation 4 players, right? And they're still allowed to play with other console, like other platforms, as I said before, PC and the mobile versions, they can play with the PlayStation 4 players. So it's really weird, and I don't like it really. So Sony, tear down these walls. All right. It's another segment where we're like, okay, House is talking again. I'm just gonna sit here in silence. Actually, Emily, do you want to take the next point on the list? Because it's a very important thing that we also want to talk about. It's about security and regarding Fortnite. So, Emily, do you want to take us through this point?
Security?
Fortnite security? It's so in case you didn't know, people, we prepare always a topic list and we go just step by step to have a good structure of that what we talk about. And I was sort of trying to get Emily back again in the conversation.
Oh right,
And there
okay.
she is.
There's a general warning to use the 2FA, which is two-factor authentication on Epic, because because there are fraudulent charges via the hacks that are happening in the masses right now. So yeah, basically people are getting hacked, and they're recommending people do their the 2FA,
Right.
the two-factor authentication thing. So
Yeah.
make sure you do that and not get yourself hacked. Otherwise,
yeah. And in case you're absolutely not aware what that means, two-factor authentication means your first factor is your password, which only you know. And the second factor is that you will get a code, like a code generator on your phone, which automatically update, and you will need the hardware here to generate that code that you will also have to input with your password along to actually confirm that you are the user behind that account, that you're actually the person who is allowed to enter it. Without the device in your hand, whatever it is, it's usually a phone, you're not able to get into your account. And even if hackers have access to your password, which we thought out, I don't know, through hacking something else, and it was if you're using sort of the password on two websites and one of them gets hacked, the other one is always in danger of also being hacked. So yeah, people, please use two-factor authentication. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's go on with a more, I guess, happy topic, I guess. And at least for me,
we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I would say let's go over them very quickly, and then let's get to releases. Like, we're already in this for a long time. We already hit the 1 hour mark, so we don't want to last for too long there. Just a few more things that you can see on our website. Of course, the article about the Division 2 is here and what will happen in the third year of the Division 1. I actually gave Vidya Project a copy of the game as a gift and say, man, you have to play this game. You have to see how it is. Because he said he never played the survival DLC, and I just couldn't have it like that. So yeah, I'm also going back a little bit to play Division 1 again to see how that's coming along. If you want to see what the developers have planned for this year, also for the first game, you can see that on our website. Next up, also, we have a short article about Call of Duty for this year. So last week, we actually got the confirmation that Call of Duty 2018 will be Black Ops 4. There's a small teaser for that. I analyzed it a little bit with screenshots. And the two things that I just wanted to confirm here, May 17th is when we will see the first gameplay for Call of Duty. Like, Call of Duty in the last few years always did an event prior to E3. And so, again, that's where we'll see the first gameplay. And the game will launch on October 12th. Also on all the platforms, PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox. Assumingly, it's not confirmed yet on the website or anywhere, but I can just assume that's coming out there. The more interesting question is, will it come out to Nintendo Switch? And I guess that's when we will see on May 17th. And that concludes almost everything. Just one more thing, in case you missed the last week's Super Smash Bros. Article, in case you missed last week's Nintendo Direct. There we go. If you missed the Nintendo Direct from the 8th of March, lots of things have been shown here, and of course, we also know by now there will be a Super Smash Bros. Game on the Nintendo Switch. It's not sure yet if it will be a new game, or if it will be a port from the Nintendo Wii U console to the Nintendo Switch. For example, with Mario Kart, they did that. Mario Kart 8 was already out on the Nintendo Wii U, and the Mario Kart 8 DX or Deluxe version came out on the Nintendo Switch, including all the DLC that had been released for the Wii U version already. So, Smash Bros. Is coming, we just don't know which version, and yeah, we'll see about that at E3. There are, of course, other games that we announced, a new DLC for Splatoon 2, other games, other ports, and also games for the Nintendo 3DS. All of that can be read in our article on the new Byte.com. So check it out, guys, and don't miss our new stuff as well. God damn it. And now I have to drink some water because my voice is starting to get a little rough. So please.
That's just you. That's because you just talked for ages.
What can I say, guys? I love talking.
Yes, you do. No. Yeah.
Please. Yeah.
Shall
Yes.
we go
No.
on
What?
to the onto the release thing?
Let's get to the releases. So we have
The releases.
2 weeks of releases that we have to cover. So we plan to go through all of them, but in a more rapid succession. So let's see. I will just put up the trailer here. And the first game that we'll have is Devil May Cry, the HD collection, featuring Devil May Cry 1, 2, and 3. And the game will release when, Emily?
It will release. Well, wasn't it released yesterday?
Exactly. It will release on March 13th, which was yesterday for the live version, or this Tuesday, actually, if you hear the VOD version.
13th of March.
Yes. Apparently, the game is not remastered for 4K support. It's just 1080p remaster. So it's a good game still, after all. How much does it cost? I think €30 are listed.
Yeah, 30 euros.
Yeah, and it's out on all consoles.
$29.99.
Exactly. So if you want to have a look at Devil May Cry, the first 3 games, you can do that now in another version. I mean, you get 3 games for €30, even if it's not like full 4K, it's still like €10 per game. And I'd say, hey, that's not too much to ask for, right? Like, I think that's a solid price. All right, let's continue.
Shall we go on to the next one?
I was just going to say that.
Golem.
Right, so here we have a PlayStation VR exclusive title. And I think it's very interesting that we have that on the show here. And yeah, that's Golem. Interesting enough, I wasn't able to find out how much the game costs. And I'm not even sure anymore if it's actually coming out on March 13th. So that was, again, yesterday. Who knows? So this is another exploring and fighting game even. And you have sort of an interesting movement system where your actions with the different controllers will also be translated into the world, and turning around and all that will be done with your glasses, as you can just see on the screen right here. So yeah, Golem out now, actually. What's the next game, Emily?
The next game is The Raven Remastered.
Exactly. What game is that?
It's going out on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and it came out yesterday, which is March 13 as well.
How much is it?
And it's 15 euros.
At least on Steam, as I saw it. Yeah. Usually it costs like 20 euros, but it's on offer for a few days until March 20th. And from what I can see, it's sort of a puzzle game, a detective game, and it's a remaster of an already older game. And it's interesting how the official trailer that I found here has only 17 views. It's a shame, really, because it looks quite good, actually. It's published by THQ Nordic, so we talked about that in the show. And yeah, so this fan website posted a trailer and apparently didn't get much traction, and I think that's a shame. So check out the Raven Remastered, I guess.
Oh well.
Let's just continue with the next game.
Yes. Kirby Star Allies. Which is on Switch.
Yes, this one is the first game actually that will have Kirby on the Nintendo Switch here.
As it's you can see right now. €60.
Yeah, it's a fully priced title. The thing with that is you have a sort of help with your friends. You can play up to 4 people locally on the console with either 4 Joy-Cons, which you have in the horizontal version, or you have 8 Joy-Cons where each player has 2 of them in both hands. And it's quite interesting to see a Kirby game which has 4-player support even. And it's, again, as I said before, it's the first game for Nintendo Switch. There is a demo out on the eShop, so if you want to check it out for free, check out the demo of the game and see how it plays out. And basically, it's just a 3D platforming Kirby game. And the idea behind is that you play with your other enemies and make them your friends. If that's not cute, I don't know what is.
That's out on the 16th.
Yes, that's this Friday.
Mm.
What other game is coming out this Friday? I know exactly what you want to talk about.
Burnout Paradise.
Exactly.
Remastered.
Yeah, so this Friday on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, we'll have Burnout Paradise, the remaster. Just today, actually, Digital Foundry, the other channel under the Eurogamer umbrella, who focuses a lot, or which focus a lot about tech behind games, resolutions, remaster qualities, and all that. They did a video comparing the PC version from 2008 with the Xbox One X version, and it looks really good. It's not like a one-to-one port; it's actually a full remaster. They redid a lot of games, a lot of things in this game. Sorry. And it looks really good on Xbox One. I personally will get the game on PlayStation 4 because my driving wheel actually only works on the PlayStation 4 and PC, not on Xbox One, and I want to enjoy that with the actual wheel. So yeah, my coverage of the game will be from the PlayStation 4 and PC, and Emily will probably do only PC right now.
Yeah, well, sadly, it's only coming out on console on Friday, but I have had insider information that is coming out on PC later on this year, and confirmation via, I think, wasn't it Criterion?
Criterion.
That's it.
Yeah, it's not done by Criterion, apparently.
Oh.
I mean, we know someone who works at Criterion, who's also listed for this game. So Criterion was involved with it, but there was another studio that did this port, and I just have a quick look at their website. Please.
Is it for PC or?
Who knows? Maybe Criterion themselves will do the PC portion of the remaster.
Ooh.
Stellar Entertainment, right? Stellar Entertainment is the actual sort of developer for the remaster version for the console versions, at least. I don't know about the PC version who did that, but Stellar Entertainment is the studio that did this remaster for the console versions, which is coming out this Friday. All right, let's continue on. We have Attack on Titan 2. That's a cool game, I think. At least it looks cool on the trailer. So on which platforms will it come out, and when will it come out, Emily?
It'll come out on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Wow, such
Even
a
the
big
Switch.
coverage of...
Yeah.
And it will come out March 20th for €60.
Yeah, it's another fully priced title. Yeah, so you can see the trailer right now. It has lots of combat. You have the omnidirectional movement system, whatever that means. I mean, it's, as I read it, I think it's the season 2 of the anime. And yeah, it's just usual thing, fighting those giants and also playing as those titans. And yeah, it seems to be an interesting game. I don't know how well it plays. I'm not sure if the reviews are out for that yet. So yeah. But that's coming out next week.
March 20th.
Correct.
Another thing that's coming out on March 20th is Sea of Thieves.
Yes.
And it's coming out for PC and Xbox One for another €60.
When we say PC, we mean Windows 10 store, actually. If I happen correctly, it's not coming out on Steam, I think. I'd be wrong, but it's a Microsoft title, so of course it will be released on the Windows 10 store alongside with the Xbox One version. And of course you will have Xbox Play Anywhere, so your progress will be kept on your Xbox account, and you can play it on both Xbox and your Windows 10 PC and progress on both versions. And what you do basically is you're a pirate, you have adventures, you have a crew, you have lots of fun.
Indeed.
And Dan is coming on the chat right now and saying, I love how I'm probably the only person on our team that has seen Attack on Titan and understands the game. You, sir, are wrong. I saw like the first half of the first season of Attack on Titan, so I know a little bit about that. Okay. But let's continue on. Yeah, Sea of Thieves coming out next week for another €60, another fully priced title. What's next, Emily?
What's next is Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered. Another remaster for PS4 and Xbox One.
Maybe I will check that one out. But again, not this season of Remaster Week, but I have the original here, apparently. So, I don't know, man. It's interesting to see. It's probably one of the better games from what I heard. It's the story...
it comes out on March 20th, and it's $30. No, not dollars. What am I saying?
I think we say euros. Yeah, and the story of Assassin's Creed Rogue, in case I don't know, it's a side story next to Black Flag, I think. You go actually up into Alaska and have interesting fights in the ice also with your chips and all that. And it deals with a story of a former assassin who turns into an assassin hunter. So in this game, you actually play an ex-assassin who kills another group of assassins and have sort of a revenge story. So might want to take a look into that as well. Emily, what's next on the list?
What is next? Shall we go? It's Titan Quest coming on PS4 and Xbox One, coming out on March 20th for €30.
Euros,
well.
dollars. That's the same, yeah. Actually, that's one of those older games. It's released actually in, I think, 2006. It's an old game, actually. It was released back then by
Is
THQ.
it another remaster?
Yeah, it's a new version for this console generation. Yeah, and basically you are a Greek hero who's playing sort of in the mythology of those Greek-style things that you already know with the Olympics and all that. And the Titans there are sort of the bad guys, which the gods of the Olymp fought against. And this game actually focuses on the story past that. So you have forgotten Titans, and you are the only person alive, apparently, who is fit to fight those Titans, and you have to try to get a connection from the real world back to the Olymp. So it's really interesting to have sort of a mythology game in the Greek sort of mythology action, and maybe that's something for you. I don't know, man. Like, I haven't even found a trailer for that, apparently. The game was remastered 2 years ago for PC, and now it's also coming back on consoles. Even Nintendo Switch will get a release of that for only €30 or $30. So maybe that's interesting enough that you want to play it out there. All right, what's next, Emily?
What's next is South Park. South Park are doing a game.
Well, not a game, that's a DLC, actually.
Oh, it's a DLC?
Yeah, it's a DLC to the Fractured But Whole, and this DLC has the title of From Dusk Till Casa Bonita, which is, of course, the restaurant which Cartman always wanted to go there. It's actually in real-life location, too, and since it's only a DLC, we can't say that much about it. There will be a new class for that game. And you do have the name for the class? I think I put it in the notes.
The class, the Netherborn?
Yeah, the Neverborn, that's sort of vampires and that thing. And the Fractured But Whole is the other side of story that they did. So with the with the first game they were doing like high fantasy stuff, like magicians, elves, and all that. And with the Fractured But Whole, they're doing superhero stuff, and that will feature Mysterio and the other sort of goths as a new class, which is finally playable in this DLC. So we had that class already in the game, but wasn't playable, and now you will have a new story also with that one golf lady, which you can see on the right side. People who saw the show will know who that is. And yeah, coming out when and for how much?
It's coming out on March 20th for €10.
Yeah, it's not much, actually. So could be interesting for you if you already have the base game. All right, what's next?
Pure Farming 2018 coming out PC, PS4, and Xbox One on March 20th for €30.
Yeah, it's like the typical German game. Farming Simulator, it's called here, I think. Or it's like... No, Farming Simulator is just another game in that series of just having a farm, driving around and just doing your thing. And I think, like, why do I need Job the Simulation? I mean, there's so many games of that style, like, I don't know. I can see how, for example, Euro Truck Simulator, why that is interesting for people. Because just having a gigantic truck and driving through the lands, if it's well done, like sort of a simulation, just driving a giant truck full, nice scenery everywhere, and just having relaxation thing going on there, like, I don't know, gets you down after an exhausted day. I know, maybe that's interesting. With Pure Farming, that's just another day of work. Why do I want to work and then play a game of work? I don't get it, but it's coming out. And then for all the consoles. Like, it's just such a German thing to do. I don't get it.
Well, it could be seen as going on Sims when you can't even like dealing with someone else's life and playing God when you have your own life to sort out. So
Maybe
it could be this could be the same or something.
All right. What's the next game, Emily? Please.
The next game on a really long list is Castle of Hearts, which is coming out on Nintendo Switch for €15 on March 23rd.
Yeah, it's actually a cool game. It's Nintendo Switch exclusive. It's another indie title, and it sort of plays just as a side-scroller game. You just walk through different levels, have to fight some enemies, and as you can see right now on the stream, is quite interesting, I'd say. It's not for everyone, I guess, but for the low price of €15, maybe that's a cool thing that you want to take a look at, and it has a very nice aesthetic going on, I think. So a side-scroller with like medieval topics could be interesting for someone out there. So yeah, now that we mention it, what's the next game?
A Way Out. A Way Out.
A Way Out.
For PC, PS4, Xbox One. And it's coming out on March 23rd, again, for €29.99.
Yeah.
Sounds reasonable.
Right, so that's done by the guys who did Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which was already very highly critically acclaimed. And this game now features a sort of prison break story, right? You have two guys coming together and trying to escape this one. And it's probably most well known from the Game Awards back then, where the main game director who was featured on the Game Awards just said, "Fuck Konami." And everyone was thinking, oh, that's the guy who's doing that game, which we also just saw then. So the game was also premiered on the Game Awards. And the idea behind this, you will always have a split screen or cutscenes together, but you play with two people simultaneously, and only one person controls one person that game. It's always like two split. And so you always see what the other person does, and you will only control one of them. And the cool thing about that is, first off, it's published by EA. And from what I read today, actually, EA will not get any share from the sales. If that's true, that's amazing. What? Because it's crazy. Like, why would EA put their name behind something if they don't even make money from that? So, okay.
Wow.
Before I think we have to verify that thing right now. Whoopsie daisy. Sorry. So I will quickly pick up the article that I read from listed in the topics news, but it's so crazy to think about that. Here's the official quote from the developer. Here's the thing, and you have to understand this. With this deal that I have for this game, EA is not making a single dollar out of this. Fairs, who's the name of the guy, explained in an interview with the Sixth Axis. Every single dollar is going to the developer. They're not even making any money, and all I've got is support from EA. They've not questioned the vision. They can't because they won't allow it. So they've been super supportive all the way, even with this buy one friend pass thing, no problem. That's another thing of the game. You pay €30 for a copy of the game. And since you will always have to play with another person, you can actually invite them into your game. So the other person can download a free version of that game. And the one who has the actual copy can share a code or something. And you can always play together with a friend without having the friend to pay also the $30 for the game. So one, EA is not splitting that up. They could also say, no, everyone has to buy a copy of the game. They're not doing that. And if this is true from the developer commentary, EA is not even making $1 of this. So maybe they're doing something better. Will also just cover the cost of the game or something. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not an expert. But from this article that I read, I was really surprised how that works out.
Oh.
It's crazy. But alas, we have only one more game on this list. Emily, what is it?
Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom, coming for PC and PS4 March 23rd, and it's going to be €60.
Yeah. That's the one game which is just amazing. It plays, I think, 200 years after the first game. So narratively, there's not much connection anymore between the two games. And from what I take it, it's sort of like two kingdoms trying to work against each other. The Kingdom of Mice, I think, took over the land. and you're playing one of the heroes in this game. It's another very great RPG adventure. It looks amazing. It looks like one of those, I don't know, Miyazaki animes. Maybe you know that name. Hayao Miyazaki, I think was the name. The guys did things like Chihiro's Journey or something, what's called. And all that. And yeah, that art style just looks amazing. And it's apparently just a great game overall. From what we see so far, I think the reviews are already out. And the first game was just really loved for many people. And now the sequel is coming out. So there you go. If Dan would be here, I guess he would just gush all over the game. Because I think it's a game totally for him. And there's that. And that concludes our release list. 2 weeks actually we covered this time. So next time when we talk about releases, it will be really shorter. Yeah, no, we have just hit about the 90 minutes mark. We're very sorry for that. We had to cover a lot of things, but we didn't want to exclude all these things that we talked about because all of that sort of plays in the whole thing that we want to cover overall on the new Byte. So yeah, thanks guys so much for watching. And Dan apparently is happy in chat. That's good. That makes us happy. Yeah. And yeah, Emily, what will you do next on the new Byte? I guess the Sims mobile review next? Or the Sims 3 video?
The Sims 3 video will be coming out soon. I'm halfway through editing it, so hopefully it will come out within the next week or so.
Cool.
So that's something to be excited about. I can't wait. And then I have an article coming out soon if I can get it right in the first place.
Probably.
So yeah.
With
lots of help from House Test.
And if some houses are more articles, of course, I want to write more. Like, I just noticed since we started with the new Byte, I love to sit down for 3 or 4 hours in the evening and just write down things about video games. And I try not to just take stuff that's out there in a press release. I also want to start a discussion, and at least from my articles, I want to have that the people who read them are having something for myself as well. Is it an opinion? Is it a thought that I want to also bring up next to the news thing? So that's it. I want to write more, and this will be coming out very soon. Something written from me again. And of course, the video site will also happen very soon. So of course, Remaster Week will get its first installment with Wonder Boy 3, The Dragon's Trap. So yeah, that's what we talk about in video version. And all right, that's that for the podcast. Next week we'll be back again with a guest. As I said before, Vijay Project will join us. We'll talk about Rainbow Six Siege and of course the Outbreak event and many more things as usual. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Ebony, thanks for joining me again for the podcast. And I will talk to you again very soon.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Thank you so much thank you so much for hosting it. It's cool.
A pleasure as always.
Thank you. Thank you so much for our viewers, and keep on subscribing, and we love feedback, so please tell us stuff.
Right. Let us know what you think about the show, of course. Subscribe on YouTube, on SoundCloud, on iTunes. Especially on iTunes, we still haven't received the first review. Maybe someone out there who likes the audio version of the podcast, check us out on iTunes. Maybe give a review if you want to. And of course, see you in the next version. Thanks, and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.